is some of our people that's in the so-called Prince Hall Lodge. So this is a very important book, and I want everybody to go out and get this. Actually, it's 2 parts. This is part 1, and this is part 2. And part 2 is kind of hard to find. Yeah, part 2.
Actually, you can actually get a copy of that in Camden. Brother named Larry Miles at La Unique bookstore in Camden on I think
6th Street.
6th Street.
Oh, he's still open?
Yeah, he's still open.
Right off of Market.
Right off of Market, 6th Street.
Right.
So we'll put that on there on tape.
Peace.
So definitely you can get that book.
Long time soldier, boy.
Who wrote that again?
David McRitchie. David McRitchie. Part 2. I don't even know where I got this one from. This is part 2.
Larry has that.
Larry has this one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Both of them.
Yeah, David McRitchie.
Yes.
This, I like that one better.
That's a new cover.
Yeah, this
both
is,
of them were in that cover.
Yeah, that book talks about the language of the Europeans, and they spoke Gaelic. They spoke Gaelic. It was like when most people go to Bryn Mawr in Philadelphia. Anybody know what Bryn Mawr mean? What is it? Did you say black? Bryn Mawr.
No, I just want to make a comment or say something here. I guess I've spent my whole life studying stuff, and what I see missing is a nomenclature or a set of definitions, meanings, because if I can start with that, then I can adjust it to every aspect of whatever I have to learn here. And I'm here to learn stuff that I've been reading since I was 4. And I'm here to learn stuff that was never ever taught in school. But it would be very helpful to have a list of terms, like you say, ward. When I hear ward, I think of black folks that came from somewhere
else
and landed in Europe and influenced the population. But I don't really know, I don't really have a good foundation on what that means. So I would like to have a good set of terms, definitions, and what they mean.
Well, the first thing I would suggest people get is an unabridged dictionary. That's number 1. Get an unabridged dictionary. And look up definitions. A thesaurus also. Thesaurus is another dictionary. And actually, I always suggest people to get a law dictionary too. Those are the 3 items you can get. There's an unabridged dictionary, not abridged, unabridged. A thesaurus, and then a law dictionary. And also, Brother Abdullah and Brother Taj and Sister Raz is actually setting up. They have books. We have books out here for people to pick up to start doing their own study. But my son is 9, and I said teach my son since he was born to go through a dictionary. Malcolm said to know diction. Diction means speaking. So when you're dealing with diction and you understand language, that's why they can never trick Malcolm up on anything, because he understood every word. When you're reading something, you go through each word and you break each word down. You find out, like Brother Abdullah, the prefixes and suffixes, the prepositions and all. So when you start seeing these things, you start tying them together, but you have to have time for that. And Abdullah and I just was discussing, talking about institutions that we need. But we need the finance to get the institutions. Like you said, the finances is in the church. That's where the finance is at. They give it up to ministers. We're working on it, trying to get it. But the IRS, yeah, that's another one. I mean, that's a
big one.
Yeah, that's a, hey man, I can talk about that too, but I don't want to go too far. They're beyond somebody's head. Because if you study the IRS codes, you would know that nobody's supposed to pay taxes. And actually, it's in the Constitution. And it says India is not taxed. So they're code, they put it inside the code in between it. And they say India is exempt. It said not taxed. So there's a difference between being exempt and not taxed. Exempt is a privilege.
It's a double whammy.
It's a language. It's all based on language.
No, what I'm saying is, on one hand, they got us thinking the 14th and part of everything and the reason for being taxed. Well, and then on the other hand, if you look at the reality of it, then not only shouldn't we be taxed, but we shouldn't even be subject to the court.
Well, the thing is that how they did it, again, that's why they have to keep you in a state of mind of being African American.
Mm-hmm.
Because foreigners supposed to pay taxes, period. Not the indigenous people. That's why you have these right-wing groups out here talking about no taxation without representation. But number one, let's go back to sovereignty, but they gotta go home. I'm sorry. We the only ones that's not accepted that we're home. So this is why all this stuff this confusion is going on. And I don't understand, but like I said, I don't understand the leaders, the so-called leaders. You hear me say so-called, they're not my leaders. They can't lead me. Nobody, being black. I'm sorry, because you can't speak for me neither. Like, I can have Brother Abdullah speak for me, or one of you speak for me, then I'll give you a message to deliver. But they can't speak for me. It's not happening. And number one, they would know that we're already here. We're already on our land. We're not foreigners. We're home. I know some people probably say, well, where did we come from? No, we were already here when Columbus got here. But again, who's teaching this? And a man don't treat you right, darn sure ain't gonna teach you right. So in order for me to have control over you, I have to say that you came from somewhere else. This is what they've done. And really if you look at that, see African American, think about it for a minute. No other group of people call themselves a whole continent. They're calling Irish American, Scottish American, but they're not that neither, because we were there also. I mean, just think about it. We calling ourselves the whole continent. African, then hyphen American.
2 continents.
There's three continents.
There's 3 continents, man. I'm still trying to figure, damn, do they have a flag for that? Think about it. I mean, seriously, do they have a flag for those 3 continents? I'm still trying to find it. Somebody can help me out. We gotta find it.
But it's even deeper when you think about it. It's a European man named Africana that named Africa. You let a European name it, and then you follow.
Well, we have Europeans naming us to this day.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, Africa and African, we just go along with European concepts.
Well, see, you still have some people, on one hand, they want to be in the world. On the other hand, they want to be out of the world. One foot in, one foot out. You're African with an African name, or you wear the African garb, but when you go to work, you back to Billy again, Billy Johnson, instead of being who you are. See what I'm saying? So it's like they have you. They already got you. So we're trying to fight to, be who we are. We don't have to fight, just be. Just be who you are. That's all you have to do is be it, not pretend. Because this man can't give you your birthright. This man can't even give you your name. So for the people that go to court and get a court order to change your name, that's kind of crazy to me. They change from one slave name to another slave name. And I don't like, and Abdullah going to correct me because there's no such thing as slave name.
No,
dramatic name.
No, our people our people were not given slave names.
Yeah.
They were given dramatic names.
Dramatic names. And there were German names that we had. They're not slave names. There is no such thing as that. For our people to go there and pay for another name, when they said that big thing right on the wall says Emancipation Proclamation. How many people know what that means? I love this place. They got Dred Scott caves up there too. Oh, I like this. You got the Dred Scott caves. Man, what does that mean right there? Let's ask some children. No, we ain't gonna ask you. Get out of here, man. What what Emancipation Proclamation? It's a big man. Who we calling sister? Sister, you don't know neither? We didn't teach that. Okay, that was supposed to be the setting free of so-called slaves. And it's not even a law, and our people hold it up as if it is a law. It's a proclamation. Emancipate means to be set free, and proclamate means to proclaim. So when did we ever proclaim who we are? Did we do it yet? Did we do it yet? No. So we're proclaiming who we are. It's a public announcement. That's all it is. And see what happens, we are bigger people. Think about it, we are begging, excuse me, could you pass legislation for us to go to the next 25 years? It's a privilege. You have a right to cast your ballot. Not your vote, your ballot. It's totally different. Casting of the ballot. Malcolm was right when he said the ballot was a bullet. He didn't say voting. Because voting is a purpose, it's a franchise. And it's actually dealing with discrimination. It's under the Civil Rights Act. Sorry. Civil rights. I mean, a lot of those things fall under civil rights. That's why I didn't understand why they was preaching that when we was in Gina. Because it's only from discrimination. That's all the civil rights is for. Look it up and do your research on it. It's just as the information. It's inside law dictionaries. And when you look up the civil rights, it's going to say, look up the color law. And it applies to colored people. That's in the NAACP.
Yes, I did. I mean, they got the pictures, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, nah, brother. They would break it down. And